Veda Handwriting Lab aims at providing a foolproof, time-tested and result-oriented approach towards training both the teachers and students develop a unique style of handwriting. It is rather a program aimed at restructuring and transforming the handwriting practice of the whole school system.
The implementation of the handwriting lab is very easy. First we trained our teachers and now the teachers are training our students. Now our students as well as teachers writes well and I am very happy about the handwriting lab also.
The real issue is between this good and bad handwriting. Actually there is nothing called good or bad handwriting. There is trained or untrained handwriting.
Often we see some students writing in the print style while some others in cursive style. However, most of us write using a style which is a mix of both the print and cursive styles. This would adversely affect the speed and legibility of one's writing.
Handwriting is actually the kinesthetic experience. However, I recommend beginning with cursive because it is less fine motor skill intensive. If you take a moment and write the word teacher in both cursive and in manuscript, you will notice that when you write in cursive, the letters are all connected and it uses less fine motor skills. When you write in manuscript, you will notice that you have to keep picking up your pencil and replacing it to form each letter. Now, young students are fine motor skill challenged, so when we ask them to begin with manuscript, we actually are asking them to do the thing that is more difficult. This is because cursive was designed for the human hand, whereas manuscript was designed for the printing press.
Though traditionally schools have been employing copywriting as a means to improve the handwriting of learners from an early age, we often do not see this exercise as something that equips the learners get trained in developing a pattern of writing. While the learner copies something to his copywriting book as part of this ritual, he often writes in his natural way at all other times, thereby challenging the very purpose of copywriting. For example, if you compare the notebook of the child with his copywriting book, you would find in most cases two different handwriting patterns by the same child. Therefore, we find that copywriting practice does not guarantee handwriting practice.
Copywriting is actually repeated others. Again and again writing the same mistakes. But this is a very good handwriting program. It gives a perfect solution to all issues and it will enhance the confidence of the child.
Some of us also, unfortunately, believe that the learners will improve their handwriting if they write more. However, in many cases, they end up writing the same mistakes repeatedly, making it difficult for them to get into the correct handwriting. To make matters worse, the learners are often expected to practice a style or pattern without being trained in the same. This makes matters worse for any learner, especially during the formative years of his schooling. Keeping all this in mind, we at Veda Handwriting Lab has developed this program to make it easy and effective for both the teachers and students to improve the ease and quality of their handwriting.
And first of all, I would like to thank Mr. Srisan Gopinath and Veda Handwriting Lab for giving us this golden opportunity to improve our handwriting. See, this was my first handwriting. And after this lab, my handwriting improved such a lot. You can see this.
Let's understand that handwriting is both a science and an art. It is the neuroimpulses that make the hand to write. There's also development of writing readiness and the attainment of eye-hand coordination along with the development of dexterity and fine motor skill development which make it easy for someone to write.
Will affect our board examinations and our future also very drastically. Most of us have improved our handwriting in a big time.
I really didn't expect that our handwriting will be changed so nicely in such a short period of time. So I'll assure you that I'll practice every day and from today onwards this will be my handwriting.
Veda Handwriting Lab focuses on mind writing before handwriting. The manicule memory device and the tick up, tick down methods make the right movements easy and effective. proper writing is not just the result of one's knowledge of the letters, but his mastery over the movement skills. The early interventions are focused on perfecting the art of finger movements of the learners. The 5 ticks, namely the voice tick,
Take down, cut down.
finger tick, air tick, mental tick, and pen tick, help the learners gain mastery over the movement skills before the learners actually start writing the letters and words using pen and paper. We have found that this is a more scientific and systematic approach into developing the perfect hand.
Look at the way they write. It's very important, and I think this Veda education has taken up a wonderful theme to improve one's handwriting. And now past few weeks they are here, and then our children have made a drastic change in their handwriting, and they're quite happy about this. And I wish all God's blessings to Mr. Sreesan and his team and the Veda education at large. Thank you.
And I was watching my change in the handwriting for the first page and second page.
This is first one, huh?
Yes.
Oh my God.
What is the difference?
Even I couldn't believe it.
I am Sister Ritzel from Auxilium Kottayam, and I show my handwriting before I could be trained and after the training, and you can see what is the improvement.
The handwriting lab comes with a complete package. We provide a handwriting kit which contains the manicure memory board, training manual, daily practice worksheet, and a practice manual. A one-day training program for all the teachers and a training DVD along with a trainer's manual to help the teachers train the students are part of the package. A specialist from Veda would be visiting the enrolled schools on a regular basis to handhold the teachers and give feedback for further improvement, and this ensures a regular and ongoing support system.
This concept was first visualized as a pilot project in our school. I am also happy to say that it was one of the biggest achievements, success stories of this institution.
നമ്മൾ വളരെ ഹാപ്പിയാണ്. കുട്ടികളെല്ലാം അത് ഫോളോ ചെയ്ത് തുടങ്ങി. അപ്പോൾ അവരിപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ റാൻഡം ചെക്കിങ് നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട് ഈ നോട്ട്ബുക്സുകൾ വാങ്ങിച്ചിട്ട്. അതിൽ നിന്നൊരു നല്ല റിസൾട്ടാണ് ഈ ഷോർട്ട് പീരീഡിൽ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. എല്ലാം കൊണ്ടും ഒരു നല്ല ഒരു മാറ്റം പ്രതീക്ഷിച്ചിരുന്നു. അതിപ്പോൾ ഏകദേശം കിട്ടിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. Now we are happy.
We have planned a 10-month intervention an academic year. During the first 5 months, the focus will be on training, spread across 21 periods per class, and the next 5 months on practice for speed writing. All the learners who successfully complete the program will be eligible for certification from Veda Handwriting Lab. We welcome you to partner with Veda Handwriting Lab to offer our teachers and learners one of the most essential skills for their future, the right handwriting. Let's together make this a reality.
The most important thing in writing is the writing preparations. The first and foremost thing is our sitting posture. How to sit for writing. Both legs should be parallel on the ground. When you put both the legs parallel on the ground, naturally we sit straight. Suppose if you cross your legs, you see there will be small bending comes. Whenever the writing comes, we should naturally come to the sitting posture. I'll repeat, both legs should be parallel on the ground. Naturally we sit straight. The second thing which affects the writing is the distance between table and chair. And the simplest thing is, if you can comfortably place both the elbows on the table, that is the proper distance between table and chair. The third thing which affects our writing is the angle of the book or position of the book. Actually, the position of the book should be 45-degree in angle. So, if a right-hander keep your book straight, here the 90 degree comes. If the right hander, the right corner of the book should go up, precisely 40-45 degree. Suppose if I am a left hander, the left corner, the 90 degree comes here, the left corner of the book should go up. I am a right hander, I am keeping my book straight, here the 90 degree comes, so I am keeping the right corner of my book upward, so it will be precisely 40-45 degree. 45 degree is the exact position of the angle of the book or paper, and one hand should be on top of the book. Why one hand on top of the book? Normally if you observe, the book or paper will be in the same place, we always go with the book. The moment you change your sitting posture, it affects your writing. So why one hand should be on top of the book? When you write, when you come down, the book should go up. We should never go with the book. I repeat, one hand should be on top of the book. When we write, when we come down, the book should go up. We should not go with the book. So the writing preparations, the first and foremost thing is your sitting posture. Both legs should be parallel on the ground. The second thing is the distance between table and chair, meaning both elbows should be comfortably placed on the table. Third one is the angle of the book. The right hander, the right corner should go up. The left hander, the left corner should go up. And one hand should be on top of the book. So why one hand should be on top of the book? When we come down, our position should never change. The position of the book should go up. If you practice 2-3 times, it becomes part of your writing.
You may write a word good, G-O-O-D, 3 times in small letters. There are many patterns of writing. For an example, some write in print style, some write in cursive style. But if you notice, majority of the people write in mixed handwriting. It is neither print nor cursive. See, the child who can join G and O doesn't know how to join O and D. So it is not an ability, it is an inability. You may underline the letter G in first good, second good and third good. And please compare the first G and the second G and the second G and the third G. Is all the 3 G's looks exactly the same? The answer will be no. But you only wrote it. Why it is changing every time?
If you observe English alphabets, some letters are moving in anti-clockwise. Some letters move in clockwise. Some letters touch the upper line, some letters touch the lower line. And F is the only letter touch all the 4 lines. Now the matter of the fact is that the letters move in anti-clockwise. Every time you repeat those letters, it loses its actual shape. If you look at the word good, all 4 letters are moving in anti-clockwise. That is the reason your first G and second G will never look same. It affects your legibility and neatness of your writing. Now, how to correct it? We have discovered a simple technique called take up, tick down method. In this handwriting lab methodology, we teach only 5 basic letters to the child, 5 basic frames and 5 basic techniques. Meaning, to improve one's handwriting 100%, one need to learn only 5 letters correctly. And writing should be the last activity. I tell you why. See, we always say handwriting. It's not the hand which is writing. Hand is more to write by the brain.
For an example, if you ask some children to write D, they write B. What is the reason? We are not teaching them wrongly. Then why the child is writing wrongly? The matter is very simple. These are mirror image letters. If you show these letters to the mirror, D looks B, B looks D. When you teach these letters together to a child, some children will take the image of D and register in their mind as B. When you ask them to write D, they write B because that is the image registered. So actually who is writing? Is the hand writing or hand is made to write by the brain? It is 100% the brain which is responsible for writing. The actual scientific process of writing is that the neuro impulses created by our brain give instruction to the hand. Hand just execute that job. It is not the hand writing, hand is made to write by the brain. So, if you want to improve one's handwriting, so the images in the brain or mind has to be set correctly. If you do that, automatically the handwriting will improve. Can you please make some slanting lines like this from bottom to up? On a sheet of paper, please make some slanting lines on the paper from bottom to up. Same way, you make a small tick up, tick up, tick up, and tell me which is easy to move. Naturally, a small tick up. Then what is handwriting? Every child can write alphabets, but why all children are not writing properly? Why? Then what is handwriting? If you closely observe, handwriting is nothing but a movement skill. What exactly we have to give this art of movements? Now you start with a small tick up, the movement is easier. That is the reason at handwriting lab methodology, either the letter should start with a small tick up or a tick down for better movement. And I'll teach you one small frame. For an example, and I'll make a small tick up and a curve. Is it look like a slanting grandfather stick? This is an image. This is the first frame. And if I put a small slanting grandfather stick, I come down to the bottom and create another curve. So we form the letter C. Now, why I am putting a slanting grandfather stick and writing the letter? If I write a C without a frame, my next C will be like this. It affects my neatness and legibility. To avoid this, because these letters are moving in anti-clockwise. So, I am putting a frame, like a photo frame, and writing the letter within the frame. So, whenever I write my C, it looks same. Then I write a C, I just touch the nick, I make a descender, I create a letter G. Similar way, I create another grandfather stick. See, the curve is very important. I come down to the bottom, I touch the nick and upward node, I create the letter O. And I repeat another slanting grandfather stick. I come down to the bottom, I connect the letters and upward node, I create the letter O. And I'll create another grandfather stick. I come down to the bottom and create a letter C. I create an accenter and a tail. I'll create the word good. Now, please make a slanting grandfather stick. Take a sheet of paper and please make a slanting grandfather stick. Create a letter C. Just touch the nick. Make a descender and create the letter G. Please write it. Then create another slanting grandfather stick, come down to the bottom, touch the nick and an upward node, create the letter O. Please repeat one more O, G-O-O. And the last one, make a slanting grandfather stick, come down to the bottom, touch the nick, now make an accenter and a tail. You create the word good. You understood? I am putting a frame first and writing the letter within the frame. So that whenever I write my letters, my formation of letters will be same. Now I tell you another simple example. If I create a slanting grandfather stick, I can create a letter C. If you notice, the same C becomes an A, same C becomes a D, same become a Q, same C become an O, X and E. Meaning, if I correct one slanting grandfather stick, the frame, and a basic letter C, I can correct 8 letters. And we have only 26 letters in English alphabets. Now, we all agree that handwriting is an art. Yes or no? If handwriting is an art, the question here is, if handwriting is an art, why are we writing? Ravi Verma, write a picture or draw a picture. Please understand this very carefully. If handwriting is an art, we should never make the child to write. Because it is an art. They should draw. Let us see whether handwriting is truly an art or not. Just raise your hand like this. Here only your shoulder should move. No other part of your hand should move. Look at the tip of your index finger. Not my index finger, your index finger. Look at the tip of your index finger and draw the frame. Slanting grandfather stick on there. Look at this. I am making a small tick up and a curve. Like a slanting grandfather stick. Now we write the word good in cursive. For example, I am making a small tick up. Look at the curve. This is very important. Tick up and a curve. Come down to the bottom C. Touching the neck. G without lifting. Another curve. O. Another curve. O. And another curve. D. I repeat. I am going to write good in 100% cursive. For an example, I'll create a slanting grandfather stick. G, another curve. O, another curve. O, and another curve. D. If you observe on the air, I am not putting no pressure. That is the pressure you should give to the pen, meaning no pressure. So please come to this air tick position, everybody. Look at the tip of your index finger. Make a small tick up and a curve. Come down to the bottom C. Touch the neck G. Without lifting your hand, another curve. O. Another curve. O. And another curve. D. You create the word good. Now with no pressure, please write that on the book. Now once again we repeat the process. Look at the tip. Don't look anywhere other than tip of your index finger. Look at the tip of your index finger. Make a slanting grandfather stick. C, G without lifting, another curve. O, another curve. O and another curve. D. We repeat once again. Slanting grandfather stick. G without lifting, another curve. O, another curve. O, another curve. D. 3 times you have to do air tick. If you have done that with no pressure, take your pen and write on the book with 0 pressure a slanting grandfather stick G like this. Make a slanting grandfather stick G without lifting. O, another curve. O, another curve. D. Please write this on your book. Now when you write, there should not be any pressure. With no pressure, please take your pen and write the word good. Slanting grandfather stick G without lifting, another curve. O, another curve. O and another curve. D. Good. 3 times. Now, did you find any difference between the first good which you wrote and the last good which you wrote? You may find some improvement. But the real fact is that the first good is untrained. Nobody has given you training. The last good which you wrote is little bit trained. I have told you how to make a grandfather stick. Then through this air tick, you understood the pressure to be given. Little bit training is given. The meaning is that the first good is untrained, the last good is little bit trained. In short, what we say normally, there is nothing called good or bad handwriting. There is only trained or untrained handwriting. Basically, you have to teach only 5 basic letters to a child, and 5 basic frames and 5 basic techniques. Writing should be the last activity. In our method, it starts with an voice tick, then to a finger tick, then to an air tick, then to a mental tick. After fixing the proper image in the mind of the child, we finally ask the child to write. For us, the writing should be the last activity, not the first activity.
I am a principal of an international school, and this is the true story of my school. We had great faculty, enthusiastic students, world-class infrastructure, and above all, very supportive management. Our students were trained in many extracurricular activities, and the school was aiming at the holistic development of the children. But whenever we got the result sheets of the students, I was very anxious. Even though our students were well prepared, they could not score well in the examinations, and had a meeting with my teachers to resolve this handwriting issue. The problem was not in their answers, but in their presentation skills and in the writing pattern. We could not find any effective solution even after considering many options. We were in trouble. I was really worried. Then I happened to watch a video sent by a friend about Veda handwriting. I called them immediately. Veda Handwriting Lab started their program by training our teachers. This was something very new to our teachers. They thoroughly enjoyed themselves undergoing the sessions. What an appropriate and scientific style of teaching. Teachers should acquire the skill before they imparting it to the students. After getting trained by Veda, our teachers began training the students. Our students really got fascinated by this unique, innovative method of teaching. I could see the tremendous improvement in handwriting by the teachers as well as students within a very short span of time. Both of them now follow a common pattern of beautiful handwriting. My major concern of handwriting was disappeared very soon. I am a happier person now. I wish my kids a happy writing.